All right, Cyber Traders, welcome on back here this Thursday, March 24th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Great to see Gerald. Great to see Mark, Will, Bill. We have all of us here joining us live inside the Cyber Group room. Great to see you all, and great to see all of us as well on social media, Facebook Live or YouTube. Loud and clear from everybody here, including Kathleen. We have Michael, Robert, one of our newest Gold students joining us as of actually, I think, yesterday. Welcome aboard, Robert. Welcome aboard all of our new students. Welcome aboard all of our new trial members joining us here even for this week, testing our room out. Great to see Nina, Bruce, Deb as well. Perfect. All right, folks, we got a lot to talk about, as always. But we have the AGRI trade to begin on the screen. Right before I started this meeting, I just asked us here quickly in the trading room, hey, anybody in this trade right now? I was commuting back home, and I ended up missing this last squeeze back up. I got to leave the office earlier if I'm trying to make it here for this meeting, like second time in a row. I got back here at like 2:27, 2:26. Just by the skin of my teeth. So, I just asked really quickly, hey, is anybody in this trade right now? And Mark said not I. Will says that he was, but got stopped out. Gerald ended up buying. I think he ended up getting in from 431, got out at 453, he wrote. It's a nice trade. Anybody else currently in on this AGRI? I just ask out of curiosity. But otherwise, though, for right now, definitely we're going to put this on our watch list here for the afternoon. Just be careful on this trade, though, right around the 470 level. I don't think there's really much of an iceberg order there right now, but that was a pretty strong level. I ended up just quickly going back through my chart, and back from last week it was, it had a tough time trying to really break higher from the 470. It held it as resistance once, then it broke above it, held it as support, but then tanked from there. So, that type of level is a good chart level, especially if there's like an iceberg order right there. I happen to actually have my level 4 up. I won't be able to show it right now, but I have at least, what is that? Right at 468, I'm reciting a 17,000 share order on the ask at 468, and then also just about 22K on the ask right at 475. So there's our resistance to work with. And then otherwise major resistance ahead at 5, about a 35,000 share order up top. So the AGRI trade definitely will put on our watch list, at least here to begin. Let's see what else we have here in the meantime. The Uber trade is one I want to talk about. I may even be getting stopped out on this trade right as I turn over to it. I'm actually in, not from the best entry price, to be honest. I kind of leaned into this, shortly to us beginning this meeting, got in like right before 2:30. But I was hoping for a nice squeeze up. And what shocked me about this trade was that, hey, with the news that came out on Uber, I would have thought that we would have seen the stock make like a 10, 15, 20% push. We didn't get that at all. In fact, it ended up dropping off, perhaps with the market after the open. Now, I know ultimately now as to why Uber made for such a great short at first after the open. We ended up seeing a lot of selling on this trade, roughly around 34.70-ish, 34.80-ish. So you could see it held there really well, and between that and its opening bell print. But, nonetheless, Uber actually made for a really good bounce from major support that we had from earlier this morning off of 33.50. So that was the level that I was calling out predominantly once this began to break lower from that 34.80-ish area. But, otherwise, that made for a great bounce. I was hoping to see continuation going into this time here. SPY, the market as a whole, making a lower high, and perhaps, we would see a lower low. So just be a little careful on this Uber trade right now. Just because I'm in it doesn't mean that you should just throw a dart on the wall and hope it lands. Ended up doing really well actually on the AMC trade, as I showed that during yesterday's afternoon meeting, albeit I left a lot of profit on the table. I ended up wasting a lot of profit as that topped off at that 22 and came scorching back down. I ended up picking up 50 or 60 cents on the trade at least, but I could have had a hell of a lot more. So you don't want to mismanage, ultimately, is what I'm pointing out to. Hey, I could mismanage this trade. I have my stop set at least for right now. But, for right now, we'll hope to see this make a new push up, heading into the close. I'll put the Uber trade as well just on our watch list, at least here to begin. All right, let's see what else we got here going from top to bottom. Otherwise, we'll start right at the top, the SDH trade. It's up just about 36+%. And dumping back down just about 36+%. I mean, just ended up making such a big squeeze to begin the afternoon. Looks like from like 140 up to over 2. And then it made the new high just before, but came crashing back down. So, I'll come back to this at the end. It's certainly pretty volatile heading into this time of the day, but I feel like this could just be like a continued dump off here for the afternoon. All right, we keep it going. MFH. This one seems a little bit more tamed for right now. You know, tight spreads, decent volume on the book. I feel like for this stock, though, it's actually only trading 13 million shares, but compare that to like, you know, maybe like the few 100,000 that it trades on average just prior to today, like 190,000. So, you know, this is definitely pretty exhausted right now, this MFH trade. BVXV, you could likely say the same thing. You know, it ended up making a pop and drop type of move, you know, from pre-market into the open. I'm watching my Uber position right now. I got my stop set, but I tell you, I didn't have the best entry. I could have had it lower, closer towards the VWAP, right off of 37. If it ends up popping, then I'll know I'm in a good position, but could have had a better entry there. All right, not AGRI, but AGMH. I got to make sure I don't trip those two up here. This is trying to make a little bit of a push back up for right now, so I'll put it on our side list. I'll kind of come back to this one, the SDH trade, and any of the others here that I kind of say I put on the side at the end. All right, let's keep it going. DRTS, for as much as this popped earlier today, dropping right back down. You know, pretty flat otherwise in this range. APVO, not really trading a whole lot of volume right now per minute. Obviously, AGRI, we're going to keep on our watch list. One of two already on there so far. EVLV, it's like kind of close to its highs. It's a decent gap fill opportunity here, at least two. Would want to see it trade more volume per minute, even about like 8,000 shares a minute. The stock is trading, not really a whole lot. So, little Larry David there. Let's see, IBIO. Wow, when did IBIO tank all the way down at 53, let alone like 29? Holy smokes. This was one of the COVID stocks back from the beginning of 2020, the beginning of the pandemic. This alongside many others, but you take your eyes off a stock for a while. We haven't traded this probably since the beginning of last year, but geez. All right, kind of skip around here right now. I thought I saw a decent one in RKDA, but I don't know what the chart looks like here. But trading 4.4 million shares total on the day, 7,000 to 8,000 shares a minute. Great volume on the order book. Pretty easy to read resistance levels ahead off of 240 to 242. A little flat, though, right now over the last 30 minutes, nearly the last hour. So, man, I'm going to just be very picky here heading into this close. I don't need to be too picky, at least here for UAVS. Clearly making a new high right now, albeit just kind of pulled a tiny bit back. But, it looks pretty strong, right? I mean, I would even want to see this trade more volume per minute than it does right now, like the 20 to 22,000 shares. I mean, it definitely trades a lot of volume on the book, very liquid stock. But, yeah, I'll put this on our main watch list, the UAVS. All right. Tell you what, folks, you're going to need to help me out here. We got to work together as a team for this one because like number 50 is up like 12% still. So, there's going to be a lot of stocks that are, either up or perhaps even down that 5 or 10% or more that I may not have looked at just yet. So I'm trying to kind of skim through the rest of this year. I know there was a lot of chat inside the live trading room before on the ESOA trade. I think one of our students asked me about it, just trying to catch a bounce, but I don't know. Just look at the daily chart. Just made such a big pop, such a big drop. Barely traded any volume before today. I don't even know if this is like a new IPO or a newly listed equity to NASDAQ. I don't know the news. Don't really care. Honestly, I really don't. The stock's just pulling back right now. Lower highs, lower lows. So we'll move on. But, it just goes to show you don't want to like hold on to a trade like this. You don't want to hold on to a trade like the even the AGRI that's like moving up pretty nicely here. Yeah, we'll kind of day trade it and then into the close. If it looks strong, there are certain ways to manage it into an overnighter. But that would be by like kind of like reducing your share size, closing out like 70 to 80% your shares. TCAT, same thing. History has a tendency to repeat itself. The stock is like one of the NFT type of stocks here. We ended up trading last year. Complete pop and drop. All right, let's hop on over to the losers list, folks. Market's kind of stalling out here, albeit it's up. So I don't know how much we're going to find that's like at the low, shortable, looking really good. Right away, I saw the PDD trade there, number like 33, but down 9+%. Let me actually jump to that pretty quick. Well, right near the lows, shortable, a little pricey, but this one looks great. All right, so PDD is, like right away, I'll put this on our watch list for the close, but just make sure that there's a support level to follow here. You'd assume that support to be off of 44.50. It's a stock listed through the NASDAQ, so I feel like there would definitely be a bigger order here. 8,200 shares on the bid at 44.50. I would assume for there to be even more than that to be such a strong support. So, see what happens off that 44.50, the first real test of it. It kind of bottomed out at 52. So we'll need to wait to see if there's any major selling off that level here before, we expect continuation. We'll jump back to the top, though, of the losers list for right now. KNDI, it's kind of dropping off here. A little bit of a move down. It like flattened out for like an hour, 45, 50 minutes at least. It is shortable, though, but I'll pass. I'd rather that PDD trade. 80 yen, not really trading a lot of volume per minute, but again, dropping off, shortable. You can tell it in my voice, folks. Not really too enthused by these lackluster, low volume, low momentum based trades. I mean, hey, can you make money on a short like this, on a stock like this? In hindsight, it's easy to say, yeah, you can. But, for the final hour of the day, is the juice worth the squeeze? That's what we got to ask ourselves here at this point. So, the AGRI, the Uber, the UAVS, the PDD, those look phenomenal, at least so far. IMPP, familiar name. I know we can't short it, but just wanted to check in on it here lastly. All right, I think that just about wraps up the loser side, folks. Not a bad list in full. We got about 4 stocks so far. I'll jump back to the other 2 I said I'd put on the side. If there's anything else up, down, left, right, more than that 5% you would want me to check out or look at, just type it in the chat board. Let me know. I've been going to YouTube first a little bit lately. Let me jump to the trading room first this time. We'll go to Leda, who has the BRCC trade. Moving up pretty nicely. Super thin volume on the order book, so you knew I'd say be careful of that. But up over 7% at the highs. Seems like a relatively new IPO here too. I would assume big support off of 18, maybe even this last peak off 18.21. Just as far as to follow up on the stock for tomorrow, perhaps. But yeah, I'll put it on our list. I just want the order book to fill in more. From Patrick, he has the TEL trade, TELL. Nah, this one's not really going anywhere right now. Tradable in all regards in the sense of volume, good level 1, level 2 type of stock, but I don't expect this to make any grand move for us to follow here. Michael reminding me about Intel. I forgot about this. Really good reminder, Michael. Thank you. Intel's up over 6%. Wouldn't have found it on the gainer side, so I appreciate him calling that out. I know that we were following this for a good portion of our day today. A little more expensive, blah, blah, blah. But, look at the chart. This thing looks great. And for a more expensive stock, got a really liquid order book. Now, that's expected for a name brand, a blue chipper like Intel here. When I see AMD even make a big move up across the day, to which AMD might even be running with Intel off this. But, AMD has, really liquid order book for a near $120 stock. So, the price doesn't always sway me away from the trade. Intel is, looking awesome right now. So the news on Intel really quickly, just so everyone and myself perhaps could be more familiar. Intel shares trading higher on continued strength following yesterday's reports, indicating NVIDIA's CEO announced that the company is oh, that's right. I vaguely remember this now. That the company is interested in exploring Intel as a foundry. The stock is also seeing strength as chip manufacturing executives urged Congress to pass legislation that includes subsidies for the semiconductor industry. All right, so with that, Intel right away on our list, looking good. I don't have level 4 up for this trade right now, though, with that in mind. So when I jump back on the audio commentary, Rich will probably do it before me when he jumps back on at 3 o'clock. But, we'll talk to you folks later on just about where the iceberg orders are on this trade. But it looks really good, though, for right now. The Intel, not AMD. Let's see. Bill says Uber overhead supply sellers. True, but if we have continued strength, which you can see the last 5-minute bar here, so beginning to peel back a bit further. I haven't gotten stopped out yet on Uber, but I'm getting closer by the minute. But if we happen to have a rebound within the market here heading into the close, then I can't anticipate Uber to tank. So, I'm still just looking to follow Uber over the next hour regardless. So if I get stopped out here on this trade, and if I see the market squeeze back up, I'll jump right back to it. Did pretty well on it earlier today, so hopefully I repeat that. Let's see, what else do we have here otherwise? I think that wraps it up from the trading room side of things. From YouTube, we got Bobby asking about the ADVM. Little pop, little drop. Not really a big fan of the volume after the volume, but holy smokes, we had a big print get filled here at 2:33 Eastern. It's a near 10 million share print, 9.72 million share print filled at 135 on this trade. So definitely some big player looking to either smash the offer and load up. Perhaps they're closing out of a short position and the stock may look to squeeze up temporarily for that reason. That could always be the case. But the reason I say that it's not as much of a stock to follow for the close, at least just yet, I know the volume bar could skew that off, but look at the volume after. It's like not really a whole lot. So I want to see it prove itself to us a little bit more, but decent shout off the big print that came in and the spike up after. Dan on YouTube asking about the Billy trade, BILI. It's trying to make a move up. It's a good sideless stock, has been for the last little while, the last 2 weeks. So if you're more of like a level 3 trader perhaps and above here in our live trading room, we say that in terms of volatility, just, hey, if you're used to following a more volatile stock and if you do well on this type of trade more often than not, then this could be a good sideless stock for you to keep in mind day to day. LLNW. Now, this one ended up making a new HOD. So this one I'm a little bit more, interested in at least right away. It's trying to break above the highs over the last few days. You can see that from the daily chart, roughly off that like 489, 490 price. The volume kind of died off away after that one too. So, I'll put this on our watch list. It's only up 2%. That's also kind of a little gripe to me there too. I'd want to see it up a little bit more, get more eyeballs on the trade. I don't think there's going to be as much interest on a stock that's only up 2% right now compared to a stock like AGRI. It's trading up 20% still right now. But it's at the highs here for the day, so hopefully, maybe get a little bit more. All right, let's just jump back to the 2 other stocks I had on the side list, and then we'll finish up from there. The SDH trade, actually right now as I turn to it, is trying to, you can see, make like a little move up from like 180 up to 186. I'm not a full believer in it just yet. This type of stock normally ends up completely dumping back down. So, if it ends up showing better signs of life, I would love to call it out myself, but we'll pass for right now. And then, what was it, the AGMH stock? I think that was about a tank, that trade. I think that was about a tank. Speaking of tanking, I did get stopped out on Uber to finish up. I got stopped out at 33. All right. The AGMH trade, flat. Not really doing anything right now. All right, folks, that about wraps it up for me here. In total, we got about 2, 4, 6, 7 stocks to work with. I'll be honest. I think the top 4 or maybe top 5, if we slip Intel in there, top 5 of this watch list that I'll type out to you folks are looking a lot better than the bottom 2. But, we'll follow them all. All right. For all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, I got a scratchy voice right now, so I appreciate you bearing with me as I go through that. But any questions, thoughts, comments, suggestions, anything that you would like to send over my way, feel more than free to do so. Go right down to the link on the banner below to join us in our live trading room. But my email address I posted right there, josh@c2trading.com. Big fat water break there. All right, for all of us otherwise, I'm going to need a couple more of those before I jump back on at 3:30, but I look forward to talking to all of us, Michael, Patrick, Norman, Leda, Kathleen, Chu, all of us included otherwise inside the cyber group room very shortly. Take care.
Become a cyber group member today. Just click the link below and receive all these amazing products and a world of knowledge for just $9.